Dude.
Bro.
Just in case anybody's watching, I do not support this firing of Dennis Allen. Big mistake. Saints, stupid. Raiders, on the other hand, woo. How many times do we get firings that happen right before the show, Tom?
It doesn't happen often. I feel like it usually happens right after. Like as soon as we click, like, okay, goodbye, then all the news happens.
Then Ian Rappaport's, he's just sitting watching GPS going, wait for it.
Wait
Not
for
going to help these ingrates.
Yep.
Fired.
As soon as you're navigated, they said, hey, you reached your destination. Firing. Yeah. Well, we got breaking news, folks. It's going to be an episode. I'm going to
The nice thing about these firings is it really takes the attention away from what the Packers and Broncos did on Sunday.
What are you doing? We had a bye week.
Oh, yeah, us too.
Yeah, cool.
Cool.
Baby, we here.
We still.
You in the right direction. Welcome to another edition of the Grossi Perna Show. I'm Tom Grossi. That's Brandon Perna, and this is GPS. And yes, breaking news as the Saints have moved on from their head coach, Dennis Allen. They announced this morning. And if you're a Saints fan, you're like, yes, we did it. Finally. Now only the rest of the team to go. So, it's a first step, on the journey. The first step is always the hardest.
Yeah.
I think that you could make a very, very strong argument that Dennis Allen, the writing has been on the wall now for a while. I thought there was potential he was gone after last season. That didn't happen. And it just seems like right now the Saints, who just came off a loss to the Panthers, that was the final straw. And they said, nay, we can no longer do with one Dennis Allen.
Yeah. The Panthers could be coach enders. They could be coach enders for the rest of the season. The Saints could be the
worst team,
the team who is the least affected by having their head coach fired because they are so screwed on so many fronts.
Correct. Yeah.
I still think the Raiders are a worse team than the Saints. I don't think firing Luke Getsy is going to really help them at all this season. Not only did the Raiders fire Getsy, and I'm not saying he's good, they're still going to they've got the dynamic quarterback duo of Gardner Minshew and Desmond Ridder to choose from right now, but they fired their offensive line coach. I forget his name, something Craig, and old Broncos offensive coordinator, Rich Scangarello, who did perform a miracle in Denver in making Drew Lock look like the second coming of Jesus. But he got fired in Denver for no reason. So there's a lot of things that happened, and it's not going to get better, I think, anytime soon for either the Raiders or the Saints.
No.
They both have to rebuild. They both have to strip down. And the Saints play this fun game with the salary cap every year.
And by fun game, you mean just like push it out and eventually they'll deal with it. It's like
it's how they do business, right? They figure out ways to make it work, and you can justify it when you've got some hope. I think this is the year they actually reset it. They go, okay, we're going to do the salary cap the normal way from now on. And the Derek Carr theme between the Raiders and now the Saints is just it's not his fault necessarily,
but it's kind of great.
But it's hilarious.
Only 20 accepted penalties. If you want to become a legend, refs, you got to pump those numbers way up. You got to start getting 23, 24. Yeah. I don't know what we're doing out here. I don't know what we're doing.
But anyway, it's a morning for Saints and Raiders fans.
For this, I mean, we'll talk about the Raiders and Luke Getsy in a moment. When it comes to the Saints, I feel like that the way that they have handled the cap is every year they're like, all right, guys. Yeah, we've been stuffing all our dirty socks just in the closet, right? It's piled over in the hamper. We need to do laundry. And they come together and they go, well, we don't have enough quarters to do the laundry. So what they'll do is they'll just like wash them in the tub, right? And they're still putting those socks on, even though they're wet. They're still kind of stinky. And that's been the Saints for a few years now. They just got wet, stinky socks on. And at some point, you got to do the laundry, Saints. So maybe this is their way of finally starting to head in that direction because they need to just blow it all up. So happy birthday, Dane.
At some point, you got to clean the skid marks out of your underwear, New Orleans.
You go a while without it, but
at some point, you got to take your clothes to the dry cleaner.
Fancy.
The Saints might just leave their clothes there, too. I don't even know if they'll ever pick them up at this point.
It's like that was that scene in The Office with Kevin with the shoes. He left it there for cleaning and they threw them out. They're just like, no, it was a health hazard. That's the New Orleans Saints right this second.
And he wore what, Kleenex boxes to the wedding?
Yeah. It's a great conversation piece.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, the Saints they're in trouble, man. Like, I thought Derek Carr coming back, I didn't think they were going to be good by any stretch of the imagination. Chris Olave getting, thankfully he's okay. He got released from the hospital, but he had to go to the hospital after a big hit.
He got sandwiched in just a brutal hit, another concussion, which is like his fourth now, maybe?
Yeah, he has a bunch, which is concerning. He's such a great player. So yeah, there's concerns there, but then to lose to the Panthers and Bryce Young, who had a pretty good game. Now, shout out Bryce Young.
Yes. Hey, Bryce needed it. Happy for Bryce.
Now. But honestly, like, I'm going to be doing it this Friday about the 5 worst teams. But I think that there's a good argument to be made that right now the Saints are the worst team in the league. And to start from where they were, that's pretty bad. Now the Patriots, because the Patriots, like, they beat the Jets. I know it's a divisional game, so you never know. But they just lost to the Titans. The Titans got a win in overtime yesterday. And I was thinking about, like, the Giants are obviously not good. But, yeah, Saints... yeah,
I mean, you could argue that. I think the Saints are probably... Because there's all these 2-7 teams, right? You got the Saints are 2-7. The Panthers are 2-7.
Giants.
Dolphins, Patriots, Raiders, Browns... Jaguars and Titans are 2-6, but of that crew, I'd say probably the Browns and the Saints are the most disappointing in terms of what people thought those teams could be this season. All of us who watched Deshaun Watson knew the Browns were going to suck with him at quarterback, so we're not surprised there. Worst team though, I feel like it might be the Raiders actually.
You think?
Yeah, they've got nothing going for them. They have quite literally, I think, the worst rushing attack in the league in terms of a per play efficiency basis of any team since the year 2000. And I don't even know, it could go back further than that, but I think, like, when we're looking at some of these stats and different things, people just go to 2000 like, fuck it. I'm not gonna look at 99 and 97 and 98.
Sure.
Teams were still running the ball back then.
True, girl.
So you have absolutely no run game. That's not going to help your quarterbacks at all. You've got Minshew and Ritter, like I said. Your best receiver is your rookie tight end right now in Brock Bowers. Your defense was supposed to be good. They're not really good. They get rid of Devontae Adams. Like, the Saints, you could at least say, as Derek Carr gets healthy, maybe if Chris Olave comes back, but like they have Kamara, they're going to be selling. I swear to God, if they trade Lattimore to the Chiefs,
why is that rumor coming out everywhere too? I feel like that just popped out from nowhere and was just now it's just being run with.
I will go down and I will shut down the entire state of Louisiana. I will spend the rest of my life getting them kicked out of the United States of America, Tom. Next petition, remove Louisiana from America. If those fucks...
We undo the Louisiana Purchase.
Yes.
You go back to the French and you're like...
49 state. Yeah, go. Yeah, join the French.
Refund.
Yes. Have fun with your no deodorant and your cigarettes and your wine. You sons of bitch. Now, if you don't do it, then I wish nothing but the best for you. New Orleans, great city, great culture.
True, Dustin.
Let's ride together. But I swear, if you help those, send him. I mean, come on. Sean Payton needs to just be calling New Orleans right now and getting all of their remaining good players to Denver. We need the help bad. I would have said send us Olave, but I'm a little worried about his injury history at this point.
Yeah.
And they just extended Kamara, too. They gave him more money for a couple years. I think it helped them with the cap maybe this year, but they are fucked. There's no good way to put it.
No, they're screwed. But this is, we've been talking about the Saints like this for years. And that there's keep kicking the can down the road. And when they got Derek Carr, it was like, okay, because there's the good defense, right? Like, because Dennis Allen, I think, is a good defensive coach, right?
He's going to be an advisor for the Broncos by next week, I feel.
There you go. I think when it comes to the way they've operated, when they got Carr, it was like, okay, maybe he can kind of push that offense forward because the defense has been so good. They're in a weaker division. Like, maybe they can, get something going, at least win the division. But it has been so radically disappointing.
Yeah.
And there's a litany of reasons why. You're looking at offensive coordinators, you're looking at head coach. Like, it's not just their fault, but man, it did not help. And I think, again, I was shocked when Dennis Allen came back this season because I'd figured at this point, like, okay, we're really going to be done. The problem is getting a new head coach is only going to help so much. Like, Derek Carr is not the answer there. That offense needs to be torn down and rebuilt. And unfortunately, they're in a year, and you and I have been talking about this, they're in a year where you just mentioned how many 2-win teams there are. We're heading into week 10 of the NFL after tonight.
It's pathetic.
It's bad. And so the amount of terrible teams that are going to be looking for a franchise quarterback, for, a premium offensive lineman is going to be significant. And the QB draft class is not as heralded as this past one. So it might be a rough couple of seasons for these 2-win teams.
It's and Darren Rizzi. Oh my God, what a nice name. Darren Rizzi has been named as the interim coach for the Saints. He was a special teams coordinator for the Dolphins. Then Sean Payton brought him in 2019 as their special teams coordinator. And he was promoted in 2022 to the team's assistant head coach position by Dennis Allen. So he's taking the reins. Maybe that's the guy they're looking at for the job, but like, I doubt it. And the Saints are a team right now that are not going to, it's not going to be appealing if you're a head coach, a prospective head coach. You know, who wants to go to the Saints? Oh, cool. I have no money to work with. I've got a quarterback I don't know that might get me fired. Very well might get me fired in Derek Carr. And where's the fucking draft order right now with all these 2-7 teams?
It's where Ben Johnson should go, by the way, to New Orleans.
Oh, no, do not.
No, send him there.
Nope.
Part of which players helping the Broncos the most? Lattimore and
the
Joku.
Saints are picking 3rd overall right now with 2-7 behind the Jags and the Pats. So, you can't even say, oh, yeah, we'll have the number 1 pick. You got to keep losing. Who? Marshawn Lattimore, Njoku, Darius Slayton, Brandon Cooks.
I feel like Njoku with your tight end situation right now.
Yeah, Njoku, I think, would be the most noticeable difference. But honestly, I think I would take Lattimore.
Good player.
After seeing how bad the defense was just by losing safety PJ Locke for a game, give me an extra coverage guy. I think Njoku would be nice. Bo Nix has to not overthrow him. That would, that's something I'm still concerned about. But I think you could draft a tight end.
Yeah.
But,
Colts. Dude, I know we're bouncing around, but real quick, just on the terms of firing, we're talking about the Saints. So Luke Getsy, offensive coordinator also for the Raiders, has been fired. And it's going to sound bad, to the surprise of almost nobody, right? Yeah. And again, I think heading into this season, the Raiders offense was already at a significant disadvantage because they didn't have a run game whatsoever. They really just had Devontae Adams and that's it. And there was uncertainty at the QB position. And Getsy, after he left Green Bay, went and destroyed the Bears. Appreciate you, Luke Getsy. And then got hired for the Raiders. And I don't know if there was really any expectation that he was going to do great there, because I don't think that he proved that he did well with the Bears at all. Like, he did horrible with the Bears.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like, Bears fans are going through this now. It's kind of like the Shane Waldron thing, but Getsy had less of an excuse, because Waldron, his results in Seattle were such a mixed bag. And it was like, I don't know. And then you're going to bring him in, and Bears fans are going through it today as they got their ass kicked by the Cardinals. Yeah. Eberflus and Waldron, not really the answer in Chicago.
Matt Skinflus. You know who's going to be their next head coach, Tom? The Bears? It's going to be your worst nightmare.
It's not Ben Johnson.
It is. No, it's going to be Ben Johnson. You saw the rumors that he wanted the Bears job.
It's not Ben Johnson.
He's getting the Bears job. He's getting a young quarterback. He can build. He's got some weapons there. Lions and Packers fans are going to be united in hating that Ben Johnson went to the Bears. But God, that makes for such great rivalry. Here's the other thing about Aaron Rodgers. Tomorrow is the election. I'm going to vote for Aaron Rodgers to be president. Nobody has proven that they can create more jobs than Aaron Rodgers. And this country, this economy needs job creation. Say what you want about Aaron Rodgers. That motherfucker got Nathaniel Hackett multiple jobs. He got Luke Getsy jobs. This guy brings old people, old aging senior citizens with him wherever he goes and gets them jobs. He is the man America needs. Vote Aaron Rodgers tomorrow.
So what about Peyton Manning, though? Why wouldn't that go? Because you could make the same argument for him out of Gase. Like, he got many people jobs.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Bill Manning's not into politics. Manning just
Bill
likes to talk
Belichick,
football.
I'm sorry. We could have a mermaid as a first lady. I'm just saying.
No, Bill Belichick is like, he's like China. Building a bunch of fake buildings where no business is actually happening. That's like just old fake cities sending out saboteurs around the league. Belichick doesn't create jobs.
Yep. It is the NFC North. It definitely is the NFC North. But yeah, Raiders and Saints. Moral of the story: y'all screwed.
Stop sucking.
It's not going to be good. You want to talk about the Denver Broncos? One is a strong word, but yeah, both our teams not having a great day. And I know that I wanted to see how Lamar was going to operate against your defense, because that's obviously been the strong point of the Broncos. And Lamar, I think he did okay. I think he stood against that defense pretty damn well.
He played a very good defense, and now he's the clear-cut MVP frontrunner. I would love for Derrick Henry to win MVP. I've never doubted Derrick Henry. I've never doubted the king. I can just tackle him if I can get his ankles. That's
just
all
I think. It's a QB-driven league. That's
it was like, I knew the Broncos' chances of beating the Ravens were, slim.
Sure.
But I believe they had a chance to compete. And for one half, we actually did.
Hey.
But then, I mean, Lamar Jackson was so good. And it's one of those games that you really had to have watched to be like, oh yeah, to appreciate how good he was. Because he was like 16 of 19, just 16 completions, but they were just like, whether the guy was wide open or whether Lamar was just buying time in the pocket by being shifty, a shifty devil, a little shifty devil. I saw him sidestep a corner blitz so effortlessly, I wanted to throw up. I was like, oh, we got his ass. We sent Jaquan McMillan off the edge. Lamar just goes like this. Then he bought some time. And it was the play was an incompletion.
Yeah.
I'm glazing him like Mahomes because I was that impressed with his incompletion.
I think the Ravens may have heard you crapping all over him this offseason.
Well, beat the Chiefs. I still think you're going to get your ass handed to you by the Chiefs, Baltimore. No, I actually think if they just run the ball with Derrick Henry, they will beat the fucking piss out of the Chiefs. You've got the team to do it. And I think the actual Super Bowl is going to be the Ravens and Lions. I think we are going to get the most fun Super Bowl we have had in a long time, and it's going to be Ravens, Lions. I want to believe the Bills can do it. I don't want to believe. I do want to believe that the Chiefs can lose, but like the Ravens are built to do it. They and just Derrick Henry's he might hit 2,000 rushing yards. Remember that in the playoffs, Baltimore. Here's the other thing. Go ahead. What are you gonna say?
They were built for it last year too.
They're built, yes, but they're built more for it now. And Lamar Jackson's actually playing better than he was last year.
Worry about that defense a little bit. Also, real quick, Will, historically, absolutely huge rivalry. Past 30 years, no, not so much. It has not been a rivalry. So that's why the Vikings are always my most hated team, because the Bears haven't been relevant enough.
So there's two things I want to get off my chest here.
Mm-hmm.
One, Sean Payton's play calling was garbage in this game. Usually he's all right. He's pretty good. He's known for being a good play caller. It was bullshit. 4th and inches. Game 0-0. We pitch it out to Javonte Williams. 8 yards behind the line to gain. And he doesn't get it. And we pitch it out to the short side of the field, too. Okay? So, 1, you don't give Javonte enough room to work with to actually get the first down. 2, you're pitching it to your slowest running back in this situation, when this is probably a play you want Jaleel McLaughlin doing. But you're trying to sell the fake that you're going to run the ball right up the gut, right? Like, that's what the Broncos are thinking. We get the Ravens to bite, we'll get this easy pitch. None of it worked. I tweeted about it. People were like, oh, your team lost by 31 points. This didn't make a difference. It was the first 4th down we didn't convert. The Broncos failed to convert 4 4th downs. That was the first one. That was a good drive. I think a touchdown there might change the momentum a little bit. Second thing, Bo Nix, first play of the game, ball bounces off little Jordan Humphrey's hands and into the Ravens. It's an interception. The Broncos stop it. But for all the Bo Nix defenders out there, because of that one pass that little Jordan Humphrey should have caught, they're like, Bo Nix needs help from his receivers, which is true. But he overthrew a wide open Troy Franklin. He missed a touchdown because he overthrew. He had time too. It's becoming a theme. The overthrows are real. I think it can be corrected.
Sure.
But it was an atrocious miss. He overthrew Cortland Sutton in the back of the end zone. He overthrew little Jordan Humphrey in the back of the end zone. So that's 3 possible touchdowns. And it wouldn't have mattered because 2 of those, the game was out of reach. But like,
sure.
If Nix has to fix one thing, it's that. Because he's doing a lot of other things great, including catching touchdown passes. That's the only thing I'm going to try and remember from this game is Bo Nix's incredible touchdown pass. He's fast. He does so many things well. But if he can fix that one thing, then he's going to be a close to complete quarterback. And I just need to see it. There, I'm done talking about my team disappointing me for the week. I'm moving on. We've got to play the Chiefs next. But fuck, that one hurt, Tom. That one sucked.
Well, it's the way that you were talking about it too. It's like if they can split one of these games, then you're like, oh man, like maybe this is a wild card team. Like maybe we can like make this push. And it's, yeah, sure. Maybe the Chiefs, a divisional game, you never know, right? The Raiders kept it close, and we're just talking about them being one of the worst teams in the league. But to have the result be as lopsided as it was in that second half, I think that's kind of what fuels that disappointment. Because like you said, it was going to be a tough game regardless. But the way that it went about, not so good. Not so good. Jermaine Burton. There you go. Oh, what do you got?
Just super chat. Somebody saying, I'm a Baltimore fan. Our defense sucks. We're not winning the Super Bowl. Like, yeah,
the defense I do worry about with the
coming
Ravens.
off a 41-10 win, and they can't even convince themselves for 1 week they might have it.
Oh my God. Well, yeah. I mean, again,
I didn't say you were going to win the Super Bowl, Baltimore, by the way. I said you were going to get to the Super Bowl. Lions winning that shit.
I said with the Ravens, like, for me, they're the Cowboys. And what I mean by that is they could have the greatest regular season in the history of the world. I mean, Cowboys aren't even doing that this year, but it's not going to matter because like someone just has to beat the Chiefs in the playoffs. Yeah, and like we're down to right now. And again, just week 9, right? Where teams currently are, and they're going to get more healthy and all that stuff. I don't think it's the Texans. The Texans are not playing well. Like they were built up as potentially able to beat the Chiefs. And I also love how we're talking about the NFL and AFC specifically of, okay, not what teams can get to the Super Bowl, which teams can beat the Chiefs. And that's a short list, right? You look at Buffalo, maybe I mean, they had everything they wanted last year. That didn't work out. You have the Ravens. Maybe, I don't know if there's another AFC North team that, like, that's it.
A lot of teams can beat the Chiefs. I'm going to be
playoffs,
just flat out honest right now.
In the playoffs, you really think that there's a long list of teams right now in the AFC that could beat them?
I think the Bills can beat them. Yes, I agree there. I think the Chargers could beat them in the playoffs. I think the Steelers could beat them in the playoffs. I think the Ravens could beat them in the playoffs. Texans, I'm no longer sold, could beat them in the playoffs. And don't get me, like, the Chiefs are a very, very good football team. And maybe DeAndre Hopkins develops and their offense starts to look a little better. They get Isaiah Pacheco back. And you're like, okay, shit, they really are complete. But they're not a complete football team right now in terms of they have some flaws. They just haven't been taken advantage of at this point. And I'm not going to bet against them necessarily. I'm not trying to just be a Chiefs hater, but I'm saying this idea that they are unbeatable is a fallacy right now.
But I'm not talking about the regular season. I'm literally, and I know they're.
I'm talking about the playoffs. The Ravens and Cowboys are nothing alike. The Ravens are a much better coach team than Dallas. I'll take John Harbaugh over Mike McCarthy.
I agree.
A billion times over. Derrick Henry is for real behind that Ravens offensive line. Like, he is on pace for 1,000 or 2,000 yards.
He's already at 1,000.
And he has not slowed down one bit. Lamar Jackson is playing like one of, if not the best quarterbacks in the league. Okay? Their secondary is a little dicey. They go out, they trade for Marshawn Lattimore. Boom, boom. Chiefs can't get him. They get a little better right away. But, like, every team's got something.
Correct.
I just think, like, the Ravens are that good when they're playing their best. Every team's got to play their best. The Bills got a weird win against the Dolphins, but I still feel good about the Bills. Like, one of their weaknesses was a strength. A 61-yard field goal by Tyler
Bass, and he missed the extra point too, so got some redemption there.
Yeah, so, like, will the Chiefs probably be unbeatable in the playoffs? Sure. But I think, like, we are giving them too much credit right now for some other teams that are playing really well and doing some impressive things. That's all.
I understand that.
Also, fuck the Chiefs.
I understand. I think it's more of just, dude, they lost against the Bengals in that AFC Championship game. Before that was like the Patriots. It's a matter of the regular season it's a week-to-week league, right? Everything matters. And like, oh man, this team is terrible one week and now they're great this week. Or like, maybe now they can bounce back. The Chiefs, I think their number one strength is they're consistent.
Sure.
Right. And it's kind of just like steady. And you bring up the things about the Ravens. And again, like, we're week 9. So like we got half of a season to go before we get to the postseason. Right?
Everything I just said could be proven wrong by injuries. Like,
exactly. There's a million things that could happen. Like, the Ravens heading into the postseason got everything they wanted, right? And that they got everything at home. They were the number 1 seed. They had a phenomenal run game. They only had to play 2 games. And that's the only concern I have. And then they made changes in the offseason. And again, like, I like the Ravens. I think they're a very good football team. And I agree with you, when they're playing at 100%, like Lamar and like Derrick Henry, like they could rock. It's just for me, they just got to prove it. They just got to prove it. Like in the AFC,
everybody
like
does.
Playoffs, they just got to, can you get it done? And the team that could beat it could be the Ravens. We'll see.
I'm saying quit being such submissive, whiny babies and start believing somebody can beat those fucking Chiefs because it can be done.
Sure.
That's all I'm saying to the football world collectively. Nobody specific.
What if they get Marshawn Lattimore then?
The Chiefs?
Yeah.
We'll deal with that as it comes, Tom.
That's fair. Vibes in Cincy, I don't think are great. I mean, it was great yesterday because you beat the piss out of the Raiders, but I mean, again, you're a 4-5 team now, so like, it's not bad, but I still think there's a lot of questions about your team. I will say the run game has gotten so much better. Like, Chase Brown is really good. I still worry about that defense. I still worry about head coaching, but just keep winning games in front of you, and then see what happens. You never know.
The Bengals, they got a chance.
Oh,
it's a long shot, but luckily there's a lot of teams losing a lot of games. So the Bengals you're in a race with the Chargers and Broncos and maybe the Colts. The Jets, outside chance.
There you go.
So for what looked really, really bleak for Cincy just a few weeks ago, like you have a chance to get into the postseason.
It's gonna be tough. You have to win divisional games. Like that's what it's gonna come down to. Because you're gonna go through a stretch where it's gonna be tough. Hey, Rams 3-0. Yeah, the Packers, that game was not good. And the thing is, like, that game was closer than the score indicated. It like just that the pick six before halftime was so backbreaking.
Sure.
And the Packers, they shot themselves in the foot. Like, talking about consistency, the Lions just played like a flawless game. And they didn't do anything like too crazy, but they just played, besides Ryan Branch getting ejected, like they just played a efficient. Jared Goff was great once again, didn't make mistakes, not turning the ball over. And the Packers, they had that massive turnover, of course. They're shooting themselves in the foot with back-breaking penalties over and over again. And this has been a problem. We're obviously missing some guys in the secondary, which sucks. Evan Williams and Jair Alexander was terrible. Their absence was terrible. And then Josh Myers, our center, we had Elton Jenkins there. And for 2 straight drives, like there were bad snaps and they fumbled the ball. So it was a matter of like they just went up against a team that has been playing excellent football.
Yeah.
And they made all the mistakes when you can't afford to. And so, yeah.
You know what I think was silly to play Jordan Love through that injury.
The way that
I think they should have let him rest this week and the bye. And then I think for the first time this season, he would have had a chance to come back feeling pretty good. Had he not had the knee injury early in the season, then like I get it.
Sure.
But 1, you've had success with Willis. 2, maybe in this weird rain game, Willis is actually a better option because you're probably going to have him run a little bit more. And now, like, I don't know how much Jordan Love re-aggravated it. Luckily, they get the bye, but it was tough seeing him, like, just hobble around knowing, like, he's not 100%. And also, the dumbest thing I heard Sunday and all morning is about the Lions and Jared Goff not being able to play outside. Because it was the first outdoor game. Wild. And it was like a legit talking point on the NFL Network for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
It's like this. The Lions are maybe the toughest team in the NFL. Like physically, mentally, those guys are going to show up no matter what. And the fact that people are like, you know what, I'm picking against the Lions because I got to play outside. The silliest thing I have seen.
I think it's
different
because
circumstances, different teams. I kind of get, but not the Lions, man. No way. But it affected that game, and I watched the Broncos Jets in a similar like rainy, slippery game, and it's not fun to watch. And Aaron Rodgers didn't play well in that rain. Jordan Love didn't play well in that rain. Bo Nix didn't play well in that rain.
But like Love, that's
Jared Goff was fine,
dude. The amount of drop passes that happened, it was
and Tucker Kraft had one.
Dude, like it was rough.
But it's slippery. The ball's slippery. It happens.
True. But the Lions didn't make those mistakes. You know what I mean?
No.
So like that's why they won that game. So it's tough. I mean, I'm not panicking in any way, shape, or form because they're 6-3 heading into the bye.
Yeah.
And you know, like you said, hopefully we get some guys back from injury. But the Lions did the same exact thing last year. They've won 3 straight at Lambeau. Like they came in, they kicked our ass just like they did last year. And then we went into Ford Field and kicked their ass on Thanksgiving. So it's a long ass season. You know, Love, that turnover is not great. And that has been a problem. But this again was a problem at this point last season. And then they go on an insane run. So like, I think they have the tools to do it 100%. The bye is coming at an excellent time for them. But they got some tough games coming up. Like they're going to be playing against division rivals. The Lions game is going to be coming back up before you know it. So
I just like the idea that the weather disproportionately affects one team.
Correct. They both played in it and the Lions play better in it. Like that's
and the only way that kind of makes sense if like one team is a really pass heavy offense, right? Like your dome team that is a pass heavy offense that can't run the football, then that might be true. When have they shown this season that they are not an incredibly balanced football team via the run or the pass? And they got a great offensive line. So it's tough. I had another point I was going to make.
Like, even though the pass rush was bad for the Packers, like, we kept the Lions offense to 2 touchdowns.
Sure.
You know, again, at the end, they could have scored again if they wanted to. But yeah,
Thanks, Mark.
I'm curious to see. Oh my God, that was adorable. Yeah, I'm curious to see what the rest of their season is going to look like. I think that winning the division for the Packers, I know they're sitting at 6-3, is probably going to be tough because the Lions already have a win over the Vikings and the Packers. But
sure.
We got time.
Yeah, it's like 2 things that I thought were going to be like true this season were like Jordan Love and CJ Stroud playing incredible football.
Yeah.
Playing very good football. And they both have kind of had some slumps. It's not like 100% on them. The situations have been different. Like Love's gone through, 2 injuries now, 2 significant injuries. CJ Stroud has struggled without Nico Collins and Stephon Diggs.
Offensive line being garbage.
Yeah, but those were like 2 of the hottest quarterbacks to finish last season. And it's, both teams are still have winning records. The Packers are still winning games. There's a lot to be like hopeful about.
Sure.
And you're kind of just hoping both of those teams can kind of survive and get by. And then through November here and into December, like things start to click like they did last season with both teams. And they, can make deep playoff runs. But there's some things out of their control right now.
One of the games I do want to talk about, besides the Bears losing, which is just funny.
Hire your head coach after a rookie quarterback. Great move, always.
I agree completely. I want to talk about that primetime game. I know we're bouncing around, but
that's what we do.
Good God, man. That was a bad football game.
No, that game was fun. What are you talking about?
A bad football game. And yeah, I don't think anyone could look and say like, oh, Anthony Richardson was the problem, which by the way, because of that one game, I do love how the narrative has immediately shifted. And I guess there was already people that were saying like, you need to play Richardson, what have you. But that's where the Colts are right now. Like, what your ceiling is with Joe Flacco.
Sure.
Like we saw it last year with the Browns, right? He's going to be able to win you games, but he's going to throw some interceptions or he's going to make some mistakes. And yesterday, like that offense is just going to be limited with Joe Flacco. And it's a matter of, okay, well then what do we prioritizing? Because I think you're starting Joe Flacco because you're not seeing enough development out of Anthony Richardson, which is not all on him. But going forward, I mean, are you going to do any worse with Richardson? Because the idea was that you can win games this season and potentially make it to the postseason with Flacco, right? That's the whole idea.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Colts got to stop thinking about the playoffs. They just got to develop Richardson.
Correct.
Or move on.
It's true, Nathan.
And I think the benching last week or this week, Richardson not playing well. The completion percentage being like as bad as it's been, I get it. But it was that the
yes, Christopher,
attention for the play he took off. I feel like that added to it. And maybe that's the thing where like his own teammates don't love it. You're like trying to send a message, whatever that spiel is. Will this do anything? But I mean, the Joe Flacco magic, I think it was a last season sort of special moment, and I don't think you're getting it back. And I think we saw Flacco against a good defense. Brian Flores had Minnesota playing like they had previously when they were 5-0, and Flacco struggled against it. So yeah, he's not going to elevate that roster to where you want it to be a playoff team. You know what I'm saying? But like, it feels like they're just going to they're making no progress for the rest of the season by not playing Richardson. I don't know if that's a good thing. I'd rather fucking lose with him and really, really see what we got as opposed to riding into next season hoping not playing fixed him.
But that's
because
also
he sat last year with injury. You know what I mean? You can't really make the argument he needs to sit longer.
Well, I disagree a little bit because I think that if the fundamentals aren't there and those aren't being taught or executed, I think that you can be developed off the field. The problem is, again, if you're making the argument, if like the foundation of your argument is we can go to the playoffs with Joe Flacco, that's where I think last night you start to disagree there. And again, that division is open. I mean, the Titans aren't great. The Jaguars aren't great, right? The Texans, they're struggling right now. The Texans are kind of like their number one competition. There's nobody that's playing great right now within their division. So I just, the goal, I know this is going to sound bad. Like the goal is in the playoffs in this particular case, which is what I think you're saying. You're saying it's more of, hey, do we have our franchise quarterback?
Yeah.
And if not, uh-oh. They needed to do it last year, but their defense got better after they traded for Sweat. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, Saquon's a monster. Again.
Dude, that was one of the best plays I've ever watched in my life.
Legitimately, one of the craziest things I've ever seen.
I've never seen a dude backwards hurdle a bitch. And you got to say it like that. He
Maybe
backwards
Maybe next game.
hurdled a bitch.
Dude, it was wild. Like, and Eagles, that game got a little scary. I know Eagles, it's so funny because you look at that game and they're like, oh, they're running away with it. Yeah. Then the Jaguars throwing back. You look at Nick Sirianni and you're like,
dude,
I will just out of the doghouse and now you're going back in.
I think he has a chance to maybe get there, but Saquon Barkley should just be in the Hall of Fame right now for that play. It was that cool. It was that cool. It's just like, and it's funny because the Giants just let him go. They just let that man go. Also, what happened at the end of the Eagles game? Like, what did Sirianni do? That
it was being super aggressive and be like, rah, 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 we could do this, pulling his inner Dan Campbell, and like it allowed the Jaguars to come on back.
Yeah, and luckily they got
catch, though. That Devontae Smith, catch was really, really good. Continue.
There were so many great catches this week. That was one thing where I put in for winners and losers. It was like you had Garrett Wilson's insane touchdown grab, right? Devontae Smith had an insane catch. Bo Nix had an insane catch. Jordan Addison, insane touchdown grab. And Demarcus Robinson's game winner in overtime for the Rams. Pretty crazy touchdown grab. But yes, put Saquon in the Hall of Fame. Just put him in now.
That's fair.
It was amazing.
Please, Ben Johnson, go away. Not to the Bears, but go away.
No, dude, if the Lions are smart, they will find a way to keep him next year and the year after. They can three-peat. Oh yeah, what'd you make of the Amon-Ra shirt?
Bro, Green Bay's 2 words. If you're gonna install it, like, at least be grammatically correct. Come on now.
What about Salah's job? What do you
you mean as a consultant with the Green Bay Packers?
Oh yeah, that's great. That's smart. Keep him there.
I think it was Aaron Rodgers giving people jobs. He did not give Salah the job.
He did not.
I don't want to see it.
No,
I don't. Step on a pity for the kitty. Yeah, 2 full divisions, which like this is pretty bad.
Yeah, like, it's annoying.
It's pretty bad, and it is a race to the bottom, 100%. Because a bunch of these teams need a quarterback. A bunch of these teams need a lot of help on their offense.
Yeah.
It's gonna be an interesting because, like, we're after tonight we're at the halfway point. You know what I mean? Like we've finished 9 weeks, and I feel like usually we have a good idea of how teams are, like, what their identity is heading into November. And I feel like there's just so many bad football teams right now in the NFL. I mean, like we're talking about eliminating half the league almost, right? With like 2 wins, like they're going to be gone and out of the playoffs within a month. It's not so good. Not so good.
I got to shout out the Atlanta Falcons, Tom.
Oh,
I think the Falcons, I got to put them in one of my favorite football teams right now.
That is such a long pause. Stephen, appreciate you. Yes.
Look at him.
Yes!
Look at the Falcons trolling Scooter. That's elite.
I love it.
Hell yeah, Atlanta.
I love it so much. Yeah. Atlanta, Dallas had like the worst game possible. Dak got hurt. CD got banged up in that game. And Dak's like, I'm going to have to get it looked at. Dak being caught on the sideline saying we effing suck.
Yeah. And he's probably hurt now, right? Like, how bad's his hamstring injury? We don't know, but like,
Appreciate you, Stephen.
I love it.
I don't think that gold. I don't think that one. I don't think they're gonna miss the postseason. But yeah, no. Kudos to the Falcons there, because that's pretty good. I love how every week there are just miserable Cowboys fans like in the stands, and the camera finds them and they're like, "Look at the tears."
And then Scooter responding with a gif of himself is the most Scooter move ever.
It is the most Scooter move ever. Yes.
I look at, want to talk about it? Bam! Hell yeah, Atlanta. I love it.
That's
and the Packers sending you the customized Grossi cheese head.
Yeah, bro.
Cool.
Let's go.
Where's my team at? Ignoring me. So Detroit, Buffalo, who wants my allegiance? Because the Denver Broncos do not care about me. I will pledge my allegiance to whichever one of you guys takes me to $1 million. Or just when the Broncos are out of the playoffs, because this season ends in horrific fashion. I will be there for both of you. Kansas City, I do not forgetting that. It's the reason you're winning games. Shinny.
Ryan,
Steve
yeah, I mean,
Baggs
the last
is
2 years. Yeah.
Probably the best defensive coordinator in the NFL, and I hate it. So I remember it every goddamn day of my godforsaken football life. I just think you're a beatable football team.
Everybody be beatable.
Yeah, the Lions lost the game, and the consensus is they're the best overall team in the league. Mm-hmm. It happens.
Mm-hmm. We'll see. Other games that happened yesterday. You brought up the Miami game, dude. That was cool. Watching that with like Bill. I was like, oh man. And for like the Dolphins, you got to feel like at least a little good. It's like, all right, at least we're going toe to toe with them. But yeah, Tyler Bass, who has been getting a lot of criticism, especially for some missed kicks. He missed an extra point yesterday, and it was like, oh no. But then he hit a 61-yard game winner. That'll help with the confidence. Just a bit.
I think, dude, I forgot how long Tyler Bass has been with the Bills. Because I was going to be like, kickers early in their career, a lot of good ones, they kind of go through these rough spots. And I watched the Chargers get rid of, a few like Younghoe Koo. They had Younghoe Koo on the roster. They weren't patient. They got rid of him. I forget who they brought in after that. Maybe it was the Money Badger, Michael Money Badgley. But Tyler Bass has been with them since 2020. So he's kind of past that phase of his kicking career. But his job was on the line.
Exactly.
I guess I'm wondering like how Bills fans feel about it, because it's very cool to see him do that. And he was emotional in the locker room after, because he knew his job was on the line. Like they brought in legit competition to see if like there was a better option out there. And that probably saves his job for this season. But are Bills fans like worried that he's going to cost him a game in the postseason? Like, I know kicking a 61-yard game winner is great. Buffalo's also a tough place to kick because of that damn wind in the stadium. But like, does this cause more fear for Bills fans, or do they think he's going to turn the corner? I don't know, but Josh Allen and Tua, they went toe to toe. Devin Achane was great in that game. Ray Davis ripped off, I think, Josh Allen's longest touchdown pass of the season, just a little swing pass. Mm-hmm. That game was fun. It was what you want a division game to be, right? It's like back and forth, scoring, back and forth. Came down to the wire.
Careful with my QB's ankles.
And Josh Allen had just an insane touchdown throw too. He was like getting tackled, but still found a way to throw it, to take the lead late in the fourth quarter. Fun football game, but I think you said it right at the beginning. Like Dolphins fans got to feel kind of good about their team playing better with Tua, right? Even though they lost that game, even though they're one of those 2-7 teams, they're clearly a lot better with Tua.
I mean, he just again can make that offense function because you didn't have anything for that. Yes, that game was very drunk. Seahawks Rams game was very, very, very. That was a wild game. Going into overtime, Matthew Stafford was a freaking beautiful throw. And Geno, man, like the Seahawks, they had plenty of opportunities. They were up, what was it? They were up by 10, I think, heading into the half. And Geno, the 3 interceptions, man.
You see Geno put it on his shoulders, take the blame?
He did. He also got sacked 7 times, dude.
Yeah.
7 times.
Imagine if Aaron Rodgers ever took the blame like that.
The guy you just
Hey, they were both Jets quarterbacks. That's my tie.
Good. Yeah, Rams right now, though, like they're sitting at 4-4, and the NFC West is just
Cardinals played a nice game. Cardinals played a nice game.
Yeah, they did. Good.
And Kyler didn't have to do much. Cardinals ran the ball really effectively.
They sacked Caleb 6 times.
Yeah, and that game was close until right before it was a 14-9 ball game before oh my fucking God. Who is the guy who scored the touchdown for Arizona? I literally wrote I didn't know who this guy was.
The DeMercado guy?
Yeah.
It's true, Ted. That's true.
Winning run from a guy I've never heard of. Amari DeMercado, a 2023 undrafted running back at TCU, 54-yard rip right before halftime. And that was the same thing that happened to the Broncos. Okay? This is why I hate birds, Tom. All right? Broncos kick a field goal right before halftime. Less than a minute left in the game. Ravens have 1 timeout. I'm like, okay, let's just not let them get a field goal here. Instead, Zay Flowers torches our entire defense down the right sideline for a touchdown, a la Jacoby Jones. Okay? Change the momentum of that game. So where we were going to possibly go into halftime down by 7, oh no, now it's 14. Cardinals did that same shit to the Bears. 54-yard touchdown right before halftime, up by 5. Oh, now they're up by 12. So, I watched it. It was both done by the Devil Bird teams. I hate birds. I want all birds to cease to exist. And if you are a bird lover,
weren't you just praising the Ravens 10 minutes ago?
As a football team.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
But either way, that changed the momentum for both of those teams.
Yeah. Oh no, the refs were awful in that game. They were terrible. They were not good.
Yeah. What do you think about those ejections? Like Puka Nacua ejected and Brian Branch. I'm sure you were happy to see Brian Branch not playing against your team.
I'm just like, it's not the worst thing. But so it's funny because he puts that hit on Bo Melton, and it was a helmet to helmet hit.
Yeah. It was a penalty.
Yeah, it was square in the face. I didn't think he was gonna get ejected. Yeah, but apparently New York was like, nay, we're not even going to mess with that. But it seemed like the refs, dude. So Keyshawn Nixon would return the first play of the game, was returning it, and he kind of got a little extra push out of bounds. But then Nixon must have done something, which we did not catch on the cameras, and I'm still don't know what happened. But then they threw a 15-yard penalty on him, from the minute. So the refs were trying to say, hey, this is the kind of game that we're going to run. So I get it in that context. But I thought he was just going to get a warning. Hey, listen, I picked against him, but they're my underdog team. And again, they don't have, they got deficiencies with their team, but they were able to get through that offensive line of the Bears, which is not good. And they don't have the best. Crows are intelligent.
Shut up, Jack. You don't know Jack. I hate crows.
Well, crows are dope. All right. Just saying.
I think the ejection was bullshit.
For Branch?
Yeah, for both. Now, Puka kind of threw a punch. Kinda. Dude, if you're going to get ejected for a punch, that shit better land, and it better land hard. Okay? It's Puka Nacua. You know how nice that man is? You can't eject a guy as nice as Puka Nacua. Dude seems like a GD saint, Tom. It's egregious, and I don't like how it can. Luckily, both those teams won. But the Brian Branch ejection, because that call came from New York.
Yeah.
How did they determine that he had malicious intent there? Which I don't think he did. I think it's a bad hit that he's got to learn not to do in a game. You know what I mean? But you slow anything down, you're going to be like, oh, it looks a lot worse. It just seemed egregious to eject him. I am not for players getting ejected unless it's like well deserved.
Sure.
Like when Michael Crabtree and Aqib Talib were literally having a boxing match in the middle of the field, I get it. Yeah, you got to eject those guys. You don't really want that, but like,
I still don't
for
think
like a bad hit, like come on. I don't know. It just seems silly.
I got you.
But
he's got to let the learned plays die.
Yeah.
Trust me, it's not coaching.
Yeah.
Tom Clements is like, what are you doing? So
I think
Kirby Joseph.
I think there needs to be like if it's a player of like Brian Branch's caliber or Puka Nacua's caliber, they have to have a tribute who gets ejected in their honor. They get to keep playing though. Each team needs to have like if it's a top 5 player on their team. Ooh, is Brian Branch even top 5 player on the Lions? Do they have that many good players? I don't know, but that's a good question.
I think he is.
You need tribute ejection guy.
I don't think so, Brad. I don't think so. Maybe a pass rusher, but that's about it. That's their weakest point right now. I think you could bring back Evan Williams and Jair, and you're fine. That secondary is already better. Yeah, no, Love said he didn't re-aggravate it. Yeah, again, the bye week is coming at a.
Then why was he limping? Was that something different?
Probably still hurts.
Yeah, I didn't re-aggravate it. That's a lie.
So I'm excited for the bye.
He's tough. Look, Jordan Love is tough. I respect that.
Bro.
I respect it.
NFC best. I don't know if we can call the NFC West the NFC best. I don't think so. Not this season.
Tennessee, saying the Cards are the best in the. Yeah. Okay.
Hold on, real quick, Brandon. I know the Patriots ultimately lost that game, and no one really cared about that game that went into overtime with the Titans. But that final play of regulation, I was watching that live, and Drake May's just there. He's dancing. And then finally, they're bringing extra pressure because they're like, okay, he's had the ball for like 20 seconds. And he just throws it. I was like, all right, it's going to be thrown away. Dude, that's the one thing Patriots fans got going for him right now.
Yeah. Honestly, if Drake May could throw to Bo Nix, nobody could stop that duo. Dude, that play was pretty insane.
It was.
It's one of those games you feel like, oh God, we lost, but that's one of those flash plays that's gonna carry some weight with Patriots fans. It was impressive. I think it was the second longest time a quarterback held onto the ball this season. The other being Jaden Daniels' Hail Mary play, right? So like, yeah, that's a gamer. That's a baller move by Drake May.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, the Chiefs, but yeah, no, it's exciting. But look at the Titans getting themselves a win. That's good. They deserve something nice. Dallas is screwed. They started coming back a little bit again, but I think Dak got hurt.
We're gonna get you, Kansas City. Our defense will be better against your shit ass offense.
No good. Bro, Green Bay is 2 words. Ski Goblin. At least you could do it correctly. Ordering Temu sweatshirts. Green Bay 1 word. Come on. Where did that come from? Like, probably is there any origin behind it? Were they just like, let's get some Green Bay suck shirts? Bro, that's it. Disagree. I like it. I like the rivalry. I like the pettiness. The vibes are in the trash for the Dallas Cowboys. They are. Oof. Yeah, Cowboys down bad, man. And if Dak is Falcons are roasting you on Twitter. Woo. Woo. Yeah. Oh, I know, Brandon. Oh, I know. Well, this is what we were talking about last year. And we were talking about, hey, Trubisky, same thing. You get a coach that is, I don't know about him. I don't know. We'll see. And then what are you going to do? You're going to fire Eberflus at the end of the year and go through it again and pray that you get Ben Johnson? What? I don't like, I'm not saying like it doesn't happen. I'm just saying like, what are the examples of defensive head coaches developing rookie quarterbacks really well? Like that's something that we should explore. Insane, right? Insane. Well, I think it depends. Dan Quinn, I guess Dan Quinn right now. Yeah, Dan Quinn's it. But again, right? Jane Daniels. But that's where like coordinators and like the support staff is going to help. Like Jordan Love takes that leap not because of Matt LaFleur. Matt LaFleur helps. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. But Tom Clements like really revolutionizes Jordan Love's play. Yeah, you know, from where he was. I guess D'Amico Ryans, defensive guy. It's working there in Houston. Maybe there's more examples than I can think of, but
both those teams. Well, and right now, was it Bobby Slowick? Is that the OC down in Houston? Right.
They did that came from college, right? Because they did it in college on Saturday, and then they got flagged for it, and then they started doing it in the NFL.
Yeah,
I do love that, where it's like, oh, okay, screw it, we're just gonna do it more and just piss off the refs. Which
that came from Incarnate Word. That was a celebration. Then Amon Ra and Drake London both did the stand on your head and fall over. So
yep. I know, it's the Lions' new profile picture on Twitter. Great. So good.
Yeah, Jackson had a great game. No DK Metcalf. Jackson, Smith, and Jigba went off. Would have probably been talked about a lot more if the Seahawks didn't lose that game.
Yes, I agree with that. If any teams win Super Bowl undefeated, do they deserve to be in the Hall of Fame? What?
The team?
The whole team? No, they'll just be in like the record books forever.
Yeah.
Record books. That's it. I'm sure you got lots of or potential Hall of Fame players there if you're going undefeated, but hey, Daniel Jones. Shout out Daniel Jones.
You broke
throwing a touchdown, buddy, and running for one.
And who did he throw the touchdown to break the streak? Chris Manhertz.
That's right.
Who was with the Broncos for a bit, brought in as a extra left tackle that just happens to play tight extra tackle that happens to play tight end.
There you go.
I love it.
You got
Rachel, I will bring it tomorrow. The cup is right next to my coffee pot. Rachel made me a coffee mug that's about this big.
Yes.
I said I'll drink it on GPS, but I was up early today, Rachel. I drank through most of my coffee before the show started. I'll have it Wednesday.
There you go.
Anyway.
There you go.
What a wild
day. They're probably it's gonna be inscripted probably. Just we had GPS, so couldn't do that, and still dealing with a broken boiler. Tonight we got the Buccaneers and Chiefs. Do you think the Bucs got a shot?
Yeah, I think they do have a chance. I would have liked their chances if Mike Evans and Chris Godwin were healthy, but
sure.
They have a chance. I think they will lose. I think we're going to be talking about like the Chiefs the Chiefs offense looking like the Chiefs of old because every offense looks good against that Buccaneers defense. So, I think we're going to be like, oh shit, is Kansas City's offense back? It's going to be like, maybe they just played the Bucs. But Baker, well, yeah. See, I'm starting to think now the Bucs are going to get their ass kicked. But
we'll see.
Baker, don't make mistakes. You're a gamer. You're a baller. Show me something tonight, please. Please.
Nay. Also, I know that like went viral. Am I the only one that's confused? I feel like I have seen that at every single like Packers home game or Packers away game. Somebody comes with a cheese grater. Yeah, that's like old. It's a pretty old insult.
Yeah, I don't know.
I see that pretty often. I appreciate you, Christopher. I appreciate you. Yeah, I think the Chiefs' defense it's gonna be tough because Baker showed that he can still operate that offense even without Evans and Godwin. But going up against that defense,
get Bucky Irving the ball. All right, Tampa. Is Bucky playing? Is he healthy? I haven't even looked.
5-minute penalty box.
Buccaneers.
Refs too.
Somebody just say the Broncos. Yeah, that literally wrote that in my script. We need a NFL version of the penalty box before a player is ejected. Let's see here.
Hey,
Chiefs
birds aren't a real club.
Questionable people.
That's what I'm talking about.
No, Chiefs have. Sorry, that's the Bucs. Bucky Irving questionable. Okay. All right.
Yeah. No. Thankfully, Caleb didn't get hurt. Yeah, that would have been a disastrous cherry on top of a disastrous game. So, I don't know if the Bills are going to make a trade. I don't think they're. I would be surprised if they made a move right now.
Yeah,
I think they're kind of just rocking with the team that they got. Obviously, they got Amari Cooper to help out that offense, but I'm gonna hope that they could, because they got ran all over. So, not the better team. I think you could say that the Lions were the better. Again, they didn't do anything like flashy yesterday, but they were balanced. They ran all like the Packers and Lions are pretty evenly matched in terms of like time of possession, rushing yards, like all that stuff. But yeah, the Packers just made all the mistakes.
Yeah.
And they lost.
The Packers are a very good team.
Oh, yeah.
But the Lions are unequivocally a better football team.
Yeah. Right now, they
just in terms of like
we'll see
everything you look at. Doesn't mean the Packers can't beat them, but
oh, I know. Yeah. Like I said, like let's see in December. So I'm not stressing.
The Lions are going to get stronger as they go on.
We'll see.
Oh my.
Yeah, because he's a god.
Yeah,
Daniel
it's
Jones,
my favorite stat line.
I think he should get another contract because of that. Personally.
Dude, if he could have had that stat line with Saquon Barkley reverse hurdling them bitches, both in Giants uniforms, it would have been so pretty.
Too smug, Perna. Too smug.
I'm spending almost 1 hour of my work time today. Perna is smug on Twitter and deserves the L. Also, I get a new Minecraft Charger shirt. Smug? How am I smug?
It's probably your beard.
I'm a beam of optimism.
I don't know about that.
What are you talking about? Minecraft?
It's now a god.
Grow up and play an adult game.
Field right, Nathan. God, just like the sun god didn't spell Green Bay right. What's going on? Huh?
I'm not smug.
That's a disgusting stat. Tweet the Chiefs won 2 Super Bowls between the last 2 touchdowns Daniel Jones has had at that stadium. That's pretty terrible. Yep, there you go. There you go. Phenomenal.
I'm just kidding. I love you. Thank you for the $20, Big Jim.
Perna, what do you got coming out today, buddy?
Go check out the new Worst Game Ever, guys. It's on YouTube right now.
It's fair enough. It's fair enough. Today, it's going to be crazy time. If the NFL is scripted, week 9, I'll be dropping later tonight. Streaming tonight, every NFL fan's reaction. Yeah, if I have time, I'll do a Dennis Allen one. It's just, I gotta work on scripted. That's the important.
It's not worth it to do a Dennis Allen one.
Brandon, again, what'd you say?
I said it's not worth it to do Dennis Allen one.
I think, Caleb, no, you've seen the flashes that you want to see. You just got to develop him. Like, that's going to be the most important thing. And do you have the people on the staff to develop him? That's the question. I still have not listened to it because I'm streaming all the games. So I hear not great things, but I literally have not even heard it.
I heard a little bit. He just is, it's not so much what he's saying is wrong or bad. It's just the way he talks is annoying. I think
it's just the presentation.
Yeah, I just don't like his cadence. I don't know. Something you can't really.
You just hate Tom Brady too, but then you liked him after the.
No, I do, but like I would have been. Yeah, I do. Yeah,
trying to be impartial, trying to just like stare.
Yeah, but there is something like. There's something unsmooth about the way he talks. Like, listen to, like, I don't know, Greg Olsen, and there's just such a nice rhythm there. There's like I don't know. I feel like Tom Brady talks the way I do. These gaps in his brain where he's trying to say something, and I don't know, just comes off a little weird. Tom Brady's as good as me at talking during football games. That's the way I'll put it.
Should be good. Hopefully the Strouds are looking good. But folks, we appreciate the hell out of you. We'll be back on Wednesday for another episode of the Grossi Perna Show. But I'm Tom Grossi. That's Brandon Perna. Thank you so much for watching. This is GPS. And you have been navigated.
That you reached your destination.
Oh, where? Oh.